How you doing, Mayor?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Ty, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're
Good.
doing great. Life is good.
Hello.
Hello, Chief.
Steve?
You guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did I look smarter with my glasses on? Look like you have a headache about the size of mine, Marzi.
I'll be all right.
I don't know if it's sinuses or what for me.
The weather, I'm sure the weather's not helping.
Yeah.
You guys can thank that rodent from Poughkeepsie there for 6 more weeks, so.
Oh.
How are you tonight, Ty?
Good. How about you?
Other than a headache, I'm doing pretty good.
What do you guys think of the disc golf course we got setting up down at Gargoyle?
I'll tell you, I think that's gonna be pretty neat.
I think it's gonna
I
be a
haven't thrown
big
a
hit.
frisbee in years, but
And there's quite a following, I understand with that, so that's great for the,
Good.
this is gonna be great for the community. When I was talking to the organizers, I said jokingly, I said, do you have, like a putter and all that? Oh, yeah, we got all different, discs that they throw for this distance, that distance, short distance. So they're really into it.
I didn't know that. I just thought it was one frisbee fits all.
No.
That was actually a good presentation them guys put on.
Yeah, they did a good job with
They
that.
did.
Hi, Barry.
Evening, Barry.
Hey, folks, how's everybody doing?
Good.
How are
Hi,
you?
Barry. How are you?
Good.
Evening, Karen.
Karen's audio is just coming up, so. You with us, Karen?
Oh, I am.
Okay.
How's everybody tonight?
Good.
Good,
How
ma'am.
are you?
How are you?
Good.
Mayor, I think I told you that Greg Carey's not going to be able to attend tonight.
Yes, you did. Thank you. Okay, we got Kenny Wright and Vernon's will be joining us here shortly. Reverend Rossi will be joining us shortly.
Connecting, I'm in.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Brian, how are you? Good evening.
Everybody,
I'm good, Mayor. How are you?
Good, thanks. Kenny, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Is that Syracuse?
Yes, it is.
They must have won. You're wearing it, huh?
No, I don't know if they won or not. I'm a Syracuse fan.
Go Merlin.
They have a
Being that-
basketball team?
Being
Yeah,
that Bonas didn't play today.
Hi, Daryl.
I hope they get
Hey,
their
how are ya?
grades in.
How you doing?
When do they bond us? Is
Thanks.
when? Tomorrow?
No, now is this next Sunday game.
Oh, geez.
Huskies won. Today.
Oh, I
They
did
beat-
see that they were gonna stream that tonight.
Yeah, they beat Bolivar.
Who's
They
that?
went over Allegheny yesterday.
The
Who's that?
Huskies.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
Huskies.
I think the girls are out at Chautauqua Lake tonight.
Are they? Is it Stockton Lake?
Yeah. It might be just a JV team. I'm not sure on that. My granddaughter's a volunteer coach, Sophia. So she's been helping them out, so. How's Della tonight?
fine, except I'm running behind. I just printed your plan here. Hi, everybody. Sorry. Hi.
How you doing,
Hi,
Della?
Della.
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. But I'm fine, thank you.
We'll try to get the minutes from the last meeting out. Hopefully she'll get them done tomorrow. We'll get them out to everybody. So with Monday off, it kind of pushed everything back a little bit here this week. Daryl, how are you?
Good, thanks, Mayor. How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
Yeah, supposed to be any right is present.
Okay.
Kim, how are you tonight?
I am doing well, Mayor. How are you?
Did you do the drive up ashes yesterday?
No, the bishop wouldn't let us do them. We did a service at noon in the parking lot though. And
Oh,
I gave ashes using Q-tips.
okay.
And not quite the same, but I did a service at 7:30 in the morning at Bethany Lutheran out in the parking lot. And I want to tell you, it was a little nippy out there at 7:30 in the morning giving people ashes. But yeah, so I just couldn't do the ashes to go. The bishop wouldn't let us do them this year.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd have been out there, Mayor. I would have been out there.
Okay, I looked over periodically to see if you guys were out there. You
Mhm.
weren't, so. But,
What can I say? So unfortunately, this is another year where things are just going to continue to be different for a while. We're
Right.
hoping we get back to a more normal sense soon.
Okay, we got JR and Darren's with you.
Yep.
Okay. I think we can get going. I think that's pretty much everybody who is going to be with us tonight. Okay. Last week we had a spirited conversation, and we still on for meeting in person next Thursday here at the municipal building. I believe I got 3 people who are interested in doing it. How many others are interested in doing that?
Spray and wash.
I'm interested. I'll join you the second that other meeting I'm involved in concludes.
Okay, we'll set it up in the, right now it'll be in the police training room, which is in the basement. You'll have to come around and enter the building by the Will Range, so you can enter through the police department. Okay, and then come down, they'll show you the door, come down the stairs. And when you turn right at the end of the stairs and come into the hallway, it'll be the second door on the left. You'll see the sign there that says police training room. I believe there's enough room in there so we can social distance. And we'll have a conversation there. And we'll start that at 6:30. So Chief, would you remind me to set that up with dispatch to let people in at that door?
I was just gonna say that I wouldn't mind just staying up there until everyone's down. Captain can come down here. I'll just
Okay.
stay up and let people through.
Okay,
What day is that, sir?
that'll be the 20, what did I say, the 25th?
25th.
25th. That's Thursday, the 25th at
6:30.
6:30?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I sent you, we really didn't get into the plan much. We got kind of, well, we did, but once we got to the police review board, we got sidetracked. And not sidetracked, but we got into a lengthy spirit as the words I use at the end of it and quoted in Burns right up there, spirited conversation. So let's go back to the plan, and I know there was some suggestions. I wanted you to take a look at this, and we can review this so that we after next week's meeting, we can when we meet with the council, we can have our plan together. So who am I looking at? It was suggested to me over the last week or so that maybe we take a vote on the board here, on the committee here, on who is in favor of a review board and who is not in favor of it. It was also suggested that maybe we do it in a way so that everybody feels comfortable. Thoughts on that? Michael?
I think a way, the most important thing is a way that people feel comfortable. So they're not afraid of retribution or retaliation from anyone. If they're more comfortable doing it by email or however, whatever makes the people the most comfortable, where they're just going to be honest and not be afraid of being intimidated or any retribution.
Kenny?
We're all meeting in person to discuss the community review board, to actually sit down and kind of hash things out. I mean, it seems kind of we're putting the cart before the horse. We don't even know what the review board is going to even entail, what the framework is going to be or anything. I mean, it seems like if we're going to vote, we're all going to, if we're going to sit down, a group of us sit down in a room to talk about it. I really don't think that things need to be done that much in private, because we're all going to be sitting in the room discussing the review board anyways.
Well,
That was
the entire committee may not be there. We're leaving it open to ones that want to attend. So am I hearing that after next week is when we should entertain a vote, or do you want to just get it hashed out next week?
I think we should take a vote after we come out with a work product so that people can review it and hopefully have confidence in it, and then make an educated decision on their feelings after they see what we've come up with.
Second that.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Everybody shaking their heads? Okay, So then tonight, let's review the rest of the plan.
Before you go on, Mayor, I want to touch on a little bit about this fear thing, because that's kind of disturbing that someone is feeling intimidated or fearful of anything. I don't know who or whom that would be directed towards, but I think everyone here is professional and we should all be able to discuss the narrative regardless of that. I understand that some of the people won't be available and those people have to send in the email or call or whatever. But as far as the rest of this group, the people that are here right now, I think everyone should feel comfortable with being able to discuss this and not have any issues.
Also, and that too.
Well, in that vein, I'm not saying any side. Maybe someone's not comfortable going against what they may feel that the police want. And if they're more comfortable discussing that in private, hey, however people's honest opinions get put forth, that's what's the most important to me.
JR?
I guess one of the things like that we were discussing too, Bill, was when you're talking about that vote, and Kenny, you're right, we're gonna sit down and hash that out from what you said. But some of that too, I mean, I think part of that idea is just deciding like what type it needs, not so much the framework, but what I'm referring to, and not so much fear, Vernon and Mike, that you guys were speaking of. Maybe they just don't want to go against the grain because it might not be a popular opinion in the group. Somebody may be here and thinking Olean doesn't need a review board. Somebody may think that Olean needs this investigative and punitive review board, both ends of the spectrum. People in the middle might say, and I looked up, City of Rochester's is kind of a very good one. It's more review, and they review things that are investigated and then it's given back to them. So the one thing, like kind of voting on to give an idea to go into that discussion is what type of framework we should be looking at. So we're not spinning our wheels in person for 90 minutes as opposed to being on Zoom. Meaning, does the majority of the group feel that Olean needs an investigative and punitive type review board, no review board, or one in the middle that just looks at the investigations and then says, okay, hey, this is satisfied. The complaint comes in, it goes out, they get a report back in a very review type fashion, but they don't dole out punishment, if you will. And then I think that would give a better jumping off point to that in-person meeting and probably result in a better product by the end of that, given the short time.
I think that's a good idea.
No, just writing, I'm sorry. Other thoughts? Karen?
I'll say pretty much up front, I'm somewhere in the middle, depending on what the requirement is. I was contacted on my Facebook page by someone as a message. It was quite lengthy on a review board, and I'm okay with that. And I understand that we're being recorded. And again, we're all public people. Didn't exactly make my comfort zone feel real well. But I'm not looking at the punitive damage. I'm looking for a voice for the voiceless. That person that wants to come forward and make the complaint that may not feel totally comfortable going into that policeman side or the mayor side or what someone referred to as the good old boys club. You know, where did it go? I've been more process and policy, and I do think whether it's an advisory board, but there were a lot of other ideas that go along with this board, like community outreach, you know, things along that lines. And I want to compliment, you know, I don't know if Ron, Mike, or who's involved, but the Olean Police Department page on Facebook has been very active with some positive stories this last week. I think I've seen 3 of them. And it's nice to see those positive things that are happening. So I was really happy with that. But I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm not looking at punitive anything at the moment. That would be kind of accusatory to say that our police department's doing something wrong. We're not here to say they're doing something wrong. We're here to say, how can we get better? So I'm more policy, procedure, I'm, where JR's at, I'm free to admit, I am in the middle. I want to see what rolls out, parts that we like, parts that we don't like, and what's right for Olean. I think that's what we've all wanted.
Anybody else?
At our meeting next week, JR, I hope you bring a copy of the Rochester model so that we can review it. And I think that would be the appropriate place where we could look at the language, see what we think there is very successful. And, as I said, let's come up with a work product and see how people feel about that product and then make a decision based on all that. But I would like to see that model and what it says specifically and what might be good from that. So.
Daryl, yeah, I can print them off. I just happened to find it like on their website and printed the web pages. I couldn't find something in PDF, but I'll gladly print the web pages.
Excellent. I'll check it out independently too. So I appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
Okay,
I think
thanks.
I have a copy of it. I could scan it and send it to everybody.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So JR, looking at it, how does it kind of compare to the two that we've seen so far? One that Vernon presented was pretty comprehensive, and then the one that we looked at last week was kind of bare bones. How's that fit kind of in the midst between those two?
So it really very right, kind of smack dab in the middle. The people are, it doesn't say how they get onto the board, but it talks about they do a 40-hour training in mediation. Then a complaint can come in, kind of what Karen was saying, that the complaint can come into this group. And then this group then sends it up the ladder. The police do investigate. I think, drawing parallels between the size of the departments, it goes to like the sergeant first who looks into it, and then they'll do an investigation, and then they get the findings, and then they bring that back to this board, and then the board they can look at the materials that were used in the investigation, but they look at things, and then they say that they can say we're not happy with it, and then if it gets kicked back out, it would go up a level to like Captain Marsfelder, who then he would look at it. The decision making does reside in the police department, but this group reviews the decision making, reviews the decision. It's really, it's smack in the middle, Barry, is what I would say.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on the review board and next week?
So,
Mayor, I'd have one thing since we're on that, since we're going to move on from that. I think in this collaborative plan, the wording under that section, the initiate a civilian review board. I think the only thing that we should have in there is just the first sentence. For those that don't have a copy in front of you, it says the committee recommended the creation of a civilian review board be further explored, and stop it right there.
For submission of our plan, is that what you're talking?
Let me see. So
Yeah,
it'd be
no,
on
I see where
page
you're at.
3.
Initiate a civilian review board. So the committee recommends the creation of a civilian review board be further explored. Do you want to stop it right there?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine. I'm crossing that out now. And then what would be the plan is after next week's meeting is to put in the recommendation or leave it that and move so we can move the plan forward. And then it's also been asked by several people that this committee stay on to come up with the particulars of the review board. Is that still the desire? Or do you want to try to have it all done next week so we can send it on to the Common Council?
I'm amenable to whatever the city needs or committee needs.
Vern, what did you have in mind, Vernon? I'm sorry, I keep calling you Vern. I know
I
you don't.
prefer, I mean, I'd rather this group be the ones to try to work this out. If it has to extend a few more weeks, so be it. I don't think bringing in fresh eyes would do anything but set us back. Everyone here has pretty much been the ones that have been focused from day one. So I think it'd be best if we could do this. Like I said, we can submit the plan with that information right there. And then from there, we can work out all of the details and everything and then present it to the board. To the council, sorry.
That's actually what I kind of had in mind back a few weeks ago too, doing it that way there. So we could forward on the plan. So everybody okay with that?
Well, I mean, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe next week, we'll have a much more solid idea of what it is, depending on how next week goes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we'll be able to have a solid idea where we can put forth more of an idea of what's going to happen. Maybe we won't, but maybe it's wishful thinking.
Yeah, we could. We could be in there, and get it done. Kim?
I just wanted to say, I just went on the Rochester City Police Department website and found their civilian review board. I copied it, and I think I sent it in an email to everybody.
Wow.
So,
Kim, it's also
So-
in the chat screen on the side.
is it?
Yes, I just copied
Hey,
the
yeah,
link.
you got the
on the
link
chat.
to it. Right. So I made a copy of it and I sent it out in a forward from the email that the mayor sends to us. So if you don't get a copy of it, let me know, but I think I just sent it out so that everybody will have a copy of it. We can all have an opportunity to read through it next week. And, I agree that maybe next week we can get a little bit more firmer grip on this and that we should continue to work on what the civilian review board would be like.
Okay. I did get it. I got it, Kim. So thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. So if you got it, I hope everybody else did. If not, let me know and I'll just forward it again.
What I can do is if someone who has not received it, I can forward it on
Okay.
from here. So I can
Okay,
forward it on
great.
back out to the committee. So, all right, then. So we got some work to do next week. Bring a late dinner and possibly bring your night clothes. We may be here for a while, so.
Okay.
No.
That'd be cool. That would be my first. Look out. Okay.
Sleeping bags and pillows, huh?
There you are. Yeah.
Wearing gloves.
So, all right, everybody. Okay, let's go through the and this is just a draft. It can be changed. The first part of it is some, we'll put in there like the second paragraph where it says the Olean Police Reform and Re-Invention Collaborative held its first meeting December 3rd and held the number of meetings. We'll have, by the time the report is ready to go, we'll have the number of meetings that we have had here. We're also planning on putting in here the Zoom via Zoom where the meetings can be found. The recordings of the meetings can be found. We're also talking about putting in the some of the documents, some of the attachments. We'll put in the minutes from the 3 meetings that were held back last year at the community center. Comments, there were a lot of comments in there. We'll include the comments that are coming up, in there, and you can see some of the, this is some of the topics that we discussed or here During the course of the meeting, committee held, had access to the following. Some of the things that the committee had access to. The one thing I don't, oh yeah, department policies. We've had all that access, all the materials here, talked about with the social services. And then a lot of the topics that we talked about here, 1 through 16. And then after that, that's on page 2. And then after that, we start with the role of the social worker. That was one of our topics. And in here is the recommendation. The committee recommends that the Common Council consider a shared service agreement with Cattaraugus County to have a social worker available for the department when necessary on certain types of call, such as mental health and homelessness. Does that sound pretty accurate to what we came up with? Okay. The next one is the role of the resource officer. The committee recommends that the role of the school resource officer be defined and be an integral part of the community policing program. And then it says, please see below, because farther down it talks about underneath the community policing. Well, I'll get down to it when we get down here. Accreditation. I'm sorry, recruitment. The committee recommends that the Common Council explore property tax incentives for officers living in Olean and sponsoring programs to the police academy. Okay. Accreditation of the police department. The committee recommends that the department pursue and maintain accreditation through, and in the blank, it would say Division of Criminal Justice Services. Mitra couldn't remember what I said. It's commonly called DCJS, but we'll spell it out. It was stated that many functions of the police department would be monitored in order to maintain the accreditation status. So we have that there. Reestablish community policing. The committee recommends that the community policing program be reestablished. The school resource officer would be part of the community policing initiative. And then the committee recommends that the public be made better aware of the community involvement of the police department, such as Shop with the Cop, Child Safety Seat Awareness, and others. Committee also recommends that the city research and possibly introduce an Explorer program, possibly for ages 6 through 20, as well as a civilian academy for residents. And so that's all under community policing. Initiate a civilian review board, and just the first sentence there, the committee recommends the creation of a civilian review board be further explored, and then after next week, we may have something more to put in there. Training of police officers, the committee recommends that police officers continue to receive defensive tactic trainings and that cultural awareness programs be initiated. Okay. Chokeholds and neck holds. The committee was pleased that the Olean Police Department was proactive and had banned chokeholds prior to the passing of the Eric Garner Law Anti-Chokehold Act. The committee recommended that the police be updated to ensure that the definition of the chokehold include both the obstruction of the airway to the lungs and of the blood circulation to the brain. We good there? Physical fitness, committee recommends that physical fitness program for testing for police officers be initiated if possible.
Mayor, I have a question on that one.
Yep.
You put if possible. All the rest of them say will be initiated. So why if possible?
I think why we put it because of standards that the Division of Criminal Justice sets, the collective bargaining agreement, civil service, Taylor law, all that would have to be checked out. But that we can take that off and just initiate it, and then as this plan, as the mayor's office, the police department, and the council moves forward, that can be checked out. So that can come off.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. You're right, there's a few things in here that, we're gonna have to deal with, collecting bargaining agreement and all that, and that stuff too, and everything, so. I crossed that off. Police officer stress. The committee is well aware that the stresses of police officer are overwhelming, especially in the current environment, and that this atmosphere has a negative effect on morale, which is low. The committee thus recommends that confidential programs and help for police, for officers be provided by the city. In addition, the committee suggests that police officers who go above and beyond be honored publicly. I'm not sure, I think this was said last, that we have a employees assistance program that all city employees can participate in it. And it's a confidential service where if somebody does need help, no matter what it is, it could be stress from the job, it could be a marital issue, it can be financial issues, health issues, anything like that, that they can go to the Employees Assistance Program. But we would, I think what is, from what I've been hearing, is that we want to go above and beyond and have other avenues for the police officers. And it's not just the police officers. I would say that police, fire, and any of our city and workers that could go out to. Mike?
On a side note, well, looks like we're done with this. I just sat through a webinar this week on mental health, not only police officers dealing with people out in public that may have mental health issues, but also about, taking care of ourselves. And I'll be distributing to the department a flyer on, there's a bunch of avenues that we can take, even a text line that is available to officers if they need support, that they can contact them anonymously. So I'll be putting that out to our department probably tomorrow morning, actually.
Vernon?
Yeah, this question is for Captain and Chief, and my apologies to the committee. I didn't send it to the entire committee, but I sent the email, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, that touched on when the night we had the conversation on the EAP and things as such to help the police officers. There was one particular program that the sheriff was a part of. He was a member of. I was just wondering if you had an opportunity to check that out and if that was something that would work for you guys, or if that was just another dead end.
Was that the program, Mike, that Sheriff Wickham does on a suicide?
I believe that's a part of it.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, that's available. That has been available to our officers, and he's done it several times. I would like to go through it at some point in time. It's from what I'm hearing, it's an excellent program. And I think I gave a little bit of a history behind that after Sheriff John committed suicide, that's when Tim Wickham was the undersheriff at the time. And Tim has an educational, his background is in psychology. And he put together a program because of, he saw what it did to members of the department. So he put together a program that could help. And he goes, I know he's been statewide. I know he's been to other states to do this training and that. So it helps officers to deal with adversity and also tragedy. So let's, God forbid that we ever get to that situation in our community here, but I'm sure he would be available to help out and if something did happen that we needed that program again. So it's got to be refined a little bit more, and as we move it forward, we're a lot of the thing is we sit back and watch the tapes, and it's kind of like I love this. I tell you what, I love this committee because at times it's kind of like Seinfeld. You know, you watch Seinfeld and you have to watch that episode again to catch all the lines. So, and that's a compliment to everybody. So everybody's doing a good job as far as I'm concerned here. And it's been enlightening. It's been eye-opening at times, and I appreciate everybody's willingness to get on these Zoom meetings every Thursday night from for an hour and a half. And what is this is now our 10th one, I believe, and it's going well. So we put together, I think, a pretty good product here. It's just got to have some refinement to it. We'll do that over the next week. And once we have that meeting next Thursday night, then hopefully I hope everybody, I hope Kenny, I hope you're right that we might have a product and to put forth. So I think that would be a great thing to accomplish. So having said that,
Mayor,
yes.
one thing I think we should memorialize in our plan is a good policy that Chief Richardson acknowledged they had, which was the limitations on shifts that officers can do consecutively. It's a good policy that the police department has. I think it's a good thing we memorialize that because I think, not having them overburdened doing too many shifts in a row is one of the critical ways we can reduce the possibility of anything bad ever happening.
I'm following you. I just don't know what wording do you think?
I just would put in the actual policy outlined by Chief Richardson. It's a good policy, and I think it's something that can be a model for other cities actually to follow. We can be trendsetters and set out a good policy that other people can follow.
Mention it and that the committee supports it, something in those effects.
Yeah.
Is that the standard, Chief Richardson, or is that something revolutionary that you guys are doing?
Well, what are you talking about, Daryl? When I said we don't allow people to work like 20 hours?
Yeah, you had limits on how many consecutive shifts you could do, and I thought that was a very good policy when you outlined it.
We don't actually have that written in a policy. I mean, that's just kind of the way that it is,
Perhaps putting, a limit like that, and putting it into an actual policy, since that's exactly what you're following and it makes total sense, would be a good thing.
Yeah, that's something we can definitely look at, maybe come up with a policy.
Very good.
Mike, do you have anything to say?
No, the only thing, and of course, everything goes out the window when there's an emergency. I mean, that would have to be put in there as well. But I mean, aside from that, no.
Oh yeah, all hands on deck. But no, I think it's, not having a guy on the road for 20 hours consecutively drinking coffee, it's better for everyone.
Sure.
Is that something we want to put into the plan that the committee supports the police department's I don't know, I guess is initiative a bad word? Initiative that to try to limit the number of hours that an officer works in any 24-hour period?
I think if you use the word practice, your practices, and that's what they try and do.
I
It's
think it's
not
good to have
necessarily
it.
policy.
Yeah, I think it's good to have it in writing because if we're here because of things that were happening with police officers getting to the end of their rope and fuse and everything else, that obviously we all know that sleep deprivation certainly contributes to those things. And so if it's somehow, as Daryl had mentioned, that it's codified within the report that we're doing, I think that's going to certainly show that the city is being proactive on this.
Okay.
Is this something that we're going to have to get approved by the union?
No, because the shifts are already in the union, how overtime is given out, it would just be I'm not sure if it's a policy or like Karen said, a practice. The practice would be to try to limit to the best of their ability
A
and
best practice.
have something in there that in the event of an emergency, all hands are got to be on deck, or we won't use that terminology, but I know we used quite a bit of overtime. We had some of the officers off on quarantine. Same way in the fire department, we got hit with a lot of overtime there because of COVID quarantine. So we got to have something in there that doesn't lock us into not being able to work. When sometimes you have to, you have to do what you have to do. So.
Yeah, a lot of times, maybe somebody calls in, on the midnight shift, we might have to hold somebody over, until we can get someone to answer their phone and come in.
Yeah,
Somebody's calling you at 1 o'clock in the morning and you're looking, it's the police department. Not a lot of guys are going, yeah, I want to get up and come in at 3.
yeah. No, a best practice. Yeah, it has to acknowledge the reality. Absolutely.
Mhm. But we could acknowledge the police department's practice of not limiting the man hours that an individual officer would work or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll work on that for next week. What else we got?
I should
Aaron,
go
you're
back
awful
and look.
quiet.
I should go back and look at the tape. Did we desire a second SRO for the schools? It seems when we were having those conversations, it was back in December and it was a while ago. And I thought we were all kind of proponents that we have a second school resource officer, one for the high school, one for the middle school.
What did we say about the?
I mean, if that's desired, it's obviously grant money and funding, which is,
Yeah.
all the things that we want.
We
If they
basically
come through
have
and say-
we basically right now have a 50-50 split with the school.
Yeah.
So that would take negotiations with the school. We could put a line into there that this committee would support the let's see. Would support the school resource officer position being not enhanced, I guess, is that a good word, or not enhanced? Would support. Oh, I'm struggling. Vernon, you're good with words. Help me.
I'm sorry, I was over here cracking jokes myself, but I do have an idea, but it's on something else.
Mhm. Well, we can with the school resource officer, we can recommend that the city, the police department investigate with the school system another school resource officer dedicated or in the school system or something like that. We'll come up with some wording on that. Is that okay, everybody, to touch that one up a little bit?
I mean,
All right.
that's okay. In my opinion, that's okay. But in all actuality, I guess it would all depend on, how busy Dan is, Officer McGraw is. I mean, is he being, does he have more demand than what he could supply? But what I was going to suggest was that that he be added to the Explorers program, because it deals with children and teens from 6 to 20.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, we have the school resource officer added for community policing. I think it would be beneficial for the school resource officer to be involved with the Employers Explorers program.
Yeah, he mentioned last week there when he was on that he's being cut pretty thin. So maybe an additional resource officer would be added. Now, remember, we also have the juvenile officer that can do some of that stuff too. So we do have that resource also.
Are we talking Nyla?
No, I'm talking
Okay.
Sergeant Lasnik. He's the
Okay.
juvenile officer. Nyla and the other ones, they're just security personnel.
Okay,
Their sole function is just to provide security in the school, in the 2 elementary schools.
okay.
They are special, they're called special patrol officers. And that was so they could be armed. And so that's their only function, is to keep our children safe in the 2 elementary schools. Okay, let me make a note before I forget. Okay, what else we got? Is everybody getting ready to call us an early night or what?
The website, we want to put some comments in there on upgrading the website?
We could put the Equity and Inclusion Committee is diligently working on getting our website updated. So we could put a thing there. We support the Equity and Inclusion Committee's recommendation to have a better website.
Karen, you talking about some of the transparency stuff that we were talking about before, as far as getting good information out there and training?
Yeah,
and such things?
I'm a proponent for interactive. Something came up earlier this week about, registering your dog. And there's no reason why they should have to not make a click of a button, make a payment and attach the vet's report to register your dog. And you're supposed to do it annually. Well, how many of us remember when we did that with our dog? The city's actually losing probably quite a bit of money on an annual registration for a dog license. Sounds kind of, petty, but that's just one example. How many dogs are in the city? At $10 a year, that's a lot of money. And if you do it once, where's the reminder? Where's, the interactive? If
The
I
whole
want to
thing's
make a
cumbersome.
complaint, if I want to read a policy, if I want to submit a parking ticket electronically, I should be able to do that. If COVID has showed us nothing else, I shouldn't have to enter the city building to possibly pay a water bill or a parking ticket.
And it saves man hours.
Well, and that's kind of it. I should be able to click on it. What's my ticket number? You'll put it in. Here's my $25. Submit
And
and be
it's,
done with it.
You can
Yeah,
actually
that's-
do that.
Oh, that's good.
Can you do that now?
Yeah, you can
I
do
don't
that.
get tickets, Ron. I'm a good parker.
You can
I
pay,
do what I'm
pay
supposed
your
to
water
do.
bill online too.
I do. That's an automatic withdrawal in my house.
Yeah, that's what the Equity and Inclusion Committee has been discussing more. We had a presentation last Tuesday night, and take a look at it'd be Glen Falls, New York. Take a look at their website, and this is what the company they use them as an example. And I'm friends with the mayor in Glen Falls there. His name is Daniel Hall. And I had a lengthy conversation with him the other day about their website and the company that they're using that gave us the presentation. So they're very pleased with it. They got a lot of things on there. They got you know, a lot of things that probably could be beneficial to us here. So that there is a movement to upgrade our website to more interactive. So. Anybody else? Darren, you're awful quiet tonight.
You just asked me to unmute him here.
Right on time. No, I was just wondering, I guess, Mike and Ron, you get to answer that. How often is the registry on the website updated? Is that like immediately once somebody's like put on it?
Sex offender registry? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
It's not immediate, no. When I did the sex offender registry, generally I would send it to one of the IT guys, and then he would take it off. A lot of the sex offenders, you know, they move around a lot. Some will move outside the city, some will move right back in the city. Some of it, sometimes it's within a month. So.
Gotcha. I was just wondering since we were talking about the website.
Yeah, generally it's pretty up to date, but you know, sometimes, you know, it may be a couple weeks behind.
Gotcha.
You know, it would, now it makes me think with New York Alert, used to get messages when a sex offender moved, you know, near our neighborhood. And I don't know if civil liberties put a stop to that or what. I have to check that out because like you used to get a text or an email that so and so has moved, you know, within so many feet of your house and that. So
yeah, that might have went away with when we had the city ordinance that was found to be unconstitutional.
Oh, okay, all right. Mm-hmm.
So, would the IT guys be able to embed the state registry link, like or embed the link as far as like the search criteria and everything, like into the Olean website?
Well, they do now. I believe if you're looking for a level 2 or a level 3, if you click on those, it takes you to the state website.
Sure.
Level 1's the only thing you can give out are their zip code, not a specific address.
A short answer would be, yeah, we could set that up. So are we support the equity and inclusion committees to upgrade the website? Okay, I'm getting a few. Yep, okay. Anybody that doesn't want to do that, let's do it that way. All right. Anybody else? Okay, shall we, are we ready to call it a night and meet, rest up for next week?
So next week, it's just the Thursday because on one of the earlier calendars I had, it said meet with the common council. Or are we doing that next week or was it just the Thursday?
No, we changed,
Okay.
last week I went over
I
to change
don't
calendar.
Okay.
So
That was my question.
it says on the 23rd, distribute the plan to the council. We're gonna have to hold off distributing it to them until we get through next Thursday. And then we would meet with the council on March 2nd.
Okay.
So we may be distributing it on the, if we get things worked out next Friday, I could probably distribute it to them on the 26th, so they have time to review it before we meet with them on the 2nd. That'll be a joint meeting with the council, and we'll all be on the Zoom. You know, you'll all be given the Zoom link, so we can all be on that Zoom with the council, okay?
Excellent.
Okay. So I guess, seeing no other comments, everybody have a good night,
Thank you, everybody.
okay?
Night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Stay safe.
You too.